we have, of course, we have the narrative, and then we have what is actually going on or what's actually being recorded. More to come. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Black Spring on your Monday. And I do have just a couple of, I want to share a couple of things with you, and also some of the narrative that has come before it and what we're actually seeing right now. And but before I do that, I will take a break to say salute and hello to and thanks to my friends and the patrons, and of course the viewers like yourself. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, and thank you so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And I have a risen ability here. How are you? Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. It is, once again, it is Monday, believe it or not. So thank you for coming in. All right, thank you so much. And hello to Right Winged Angel. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to come in. I really appreciate it. So I kind of want to get into a little bit of the imagery that you see, of course, in the thumbnail, as well as just what I'm considering what's surrounding a lot of what I think is wrong with this, not just with the picture, but just with the situation. Because it's getting more difficult to hear people talk about, democracy, guardians of democracy, guardians of humanity, guardians of goodwill, and guardians of goodwill towards men. And I just find it it's getting, not only is it getting harder to hear, but it just seems like we have dead silence. We have silence on many fronts in this particular situation. So I'm going to tell you, I'll give you some of the actual headlines. I'll tell you, I did a little bit of cross-referencing, which I tend to do. But of course, in that, you will find the discrepancies, whether it comes to, we're talking about the crisis here, if you're just now joining us. And we're talking about the number of, the overwhelmed border, should I say, whether they've, staffed an additional 400 agents, or whether they've staffed an additional 600 agents. I'm not going to deny that I haven't seen any imagery like this for the since the surge has happened on the southern border. Okay, and with that, I mean, I started out with just learning of the notion that they were doing what they call expulsions of Haitians. And then there's even conflicting numbers on that, whether it's 2,000 or whether it's 3,300 of these Haitian migrants. I'm just really struggling with what we've been presented with in terms of the narrative and what's actually going on. And that is, to me, it started with, of course, the Biden-Harris administration. We've heard about root causes. I just don't. In this case, from what I understood, this is their narrative, okay, or this was their narrative, because we know that changes like bed sheets in many cases. But okay, so they were making the case, or at least Harris was making the case, that these people were fleeing from persecution or looking for a better life. She's not the only one. Okay, we heard this prior to the 2020 elections, and then, to me, the closer we got towards the end, or to the end of that election, that's really what we heard about for a long time. We've heard about climate crisis. We've heard about poverty. We've heard about violence, and we've heard about asylum seekers. We've heard about refugees. And even on this channel, I've gone over in the past the migration compact, which is, sometimes I have to go back just to kind of give you, to me, a little bit of landscape on where I'm actually coming from. Well, that actual migration compact was actually a UN agenda that was to grant free and regular migration. And that was actually due back in December of 2018. And I've discussed that at length. I don't want to go into it. If you want to go into it, you can go back into, the archives or whatnot and see for yourself. However, I was under the impression that the U.S. at the time, the Trump administration, did not sign the document. Okay. And then that particular time during that fall, you had the border surge, in which you got projectile imageries being, hurled at the border agents. You had children. You had all kinds of things, imagery that you were seeing. But then, of course, since then, the narrative, of course, has changed. You've got everything. You went from children in cages to, children under bridges, alone, dirt piles right now. And nobody is saying, much of anything about it. And I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying you have, to me, the amount of silence, whether it be from, humanity groups or NGOs. I don't hear anything about it. But I'm not saying that this imagery that I have as a thumbnail hasn't been done before, but I don't know if this is another media attempt to stoke outrage. Well, if they are stoking outrage, then I think it's rightfully so. It doesn't matter which administration that you would see this type of treatment, because it's more than inhumane. But I'm not going to talk too much. I'm actually going to show it to you so you can see it for yourselves, because you actually have an agent that was on horseback that's actually communicating with these with the migrants or the refugees, or what are we calling them these days? I don't know. But you will hear him speaking to them, which I would imagine they don't understand, for one, because Haitians, I think Haitians at least speak Creole and maybe something else. But I wouldn't imagine that there's a ton of English being spoken that's being understood by these migrants or the people that are, but I will say that this, to me, is a manufactured problem, and I don't see that there's going to be any accountability for it. I do know that Haiti has suffered an earthquake. They did suffer that last month. I don't know what measures or if any type of aid has been rendered to them. I have seen missionaries from the United States, including Jack Brewer and his own missionary team and group, go there. I have seen him there, and I'll show you some of that imagery in just a second. So I want to show you that first before I go to, before I go to the actual video on this situation. So I appreciate it. And let me see one more time. Who do we have in the house? Right wing angel and reasonability says, why the imagery with the agents on horseback roping people? I think it's for visual and emotional effect. Well, see, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not quite sure what are they aiming for with this imagery other than outrage, because nobody wants to see that being done. But you'll see the video. There's actually a video, and then you'll see more than. I'm not going to sit here and say I know what exactly is being used. I do know that these people are not cattle, and I do know that once you see the videos, it becomes a little bit more questionable what exactly is being used in this case. Yeah, I will show you that. And there's several different imageries out there, but the video to me is a little bit more. You can see there's more angles, there's more writing, there's action, there's more going on there. So, of course, it's going to stoke outrage, but the solution, I'm saying that I just find that there's some, I cannot deny that I think there seems to be some type of bias. I don't know what is it with Haiti. Haiti has not had they haven't had the best, should I say, relief or outcomes, I think, when it comes to the US. I mean, before there's tons of Haiti, help Haiti, save Haiti, pray for Haiti. And then it just doesn't get any better. Will I say it's free from corruption? No, I won't. But I will say that nobody wants to see, it's not convenient to see things that are done unjustly or inhumane. But I thought it was important to show, because I don't believe it's going to get any coverage on the mainstream. Very little. I have seen some, but very little. And also, in many cases, some of the imagery that I've seen, I've seen whether it's under bridges, I've seen a lot of that, but you can also find that kind of imagery in California, after work. So, yeah. So like I said, you guys can decide for yourselves. And, but before I do that, I want to show some of the imagery of Jack Brewer and his own missionaries that have actually been to Haiti and on the ground, so to speak, doing work. I'd love to know what his take on all of this is. I do know that these children are involved, and I do think that there's another agenda going on here. It's not just outrage. I think that that we've got some industry going on here that I think is, of course, another extension of, inhumane activity that's going on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to that. Hello to Jermaine G. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to take you to that, because I think Jack Brewer's foundation has been there for at least probably a few weeks at least. Hi, Kim Banks. How are you? Kim Banks says the Jim Crow joke Biden regime is very racist. We had hundreds of thousands to millions cross that border, but the Black people must leave within 72 hours. Why not set them up in hotels like the rest? Now, see, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know. We haven't seen any images like this. That's what I haven't seen any images like that for anybody that came before them. That's my issue with this. I didn't see that. If you look at any of the editorials, they talk about, how they've joined the Venezuelans, the Chileans. I didn't see any imagery like that. And from what I also read, that they actually, it's almost like Biden is like, well, look, I've given you a cap. I've given you deportation relief for 150,000 of these Haitians, and I'm done with you. Just as I've done all I'm going to do, I'm not going to be progressive with any other, groups of people, as he was caught on a Zoom describing, after he was sworn in. So I think he's like, basically, I've done all I'm going to do, and you guys are going to be deported back. Should we be having a surge at the border? No, I don't think so. But I think if we're going to send people back, we should send everybody back. Don't put people up in hotels. Don't give other people Airbnbs, and don't set anything up like this, because no matter what you do, it's still going to be, the perception is still going to be pretty bad. It's going to look bad. And it looks inhumane. It really does. So thank you so much, Kim Banks, for coming in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the Jack Brewer images, and then I'm going to show you the video. I think Ilhan Omar may have posted something. Ilhan Omar, it's her party. To me, these people encouraged people to come here. But I have not seen anything like this for any of these other groups of people. That's what I don't have any evidence to say that I've seen this on anybody else. I haven't. Don't take anybody, but don't abuse people. You don't need to put your hands on these people. You don't need to do that. But I do think that there's something bigger going on here. And you'll hear that in one of these videos. You're going to actually hear, there's a translator. They're going to translate what he's saying about their mission here and how they got here and what they're doing and what they're actually doing with the children. To me, that is a key piece, to me, is why I think there's a bigger agenda going on here. I think basically, I mean, I won't say it. I'll save my final whatever for the end of this, but I just wanted you to see some of these images, and then we'll go directly to that. Jermaine G says, Haiti were the first country to fight and win against oppression. Well, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm basically here. I'm here to show this story. Of course, I can give you the links. I have, of course, some of these sources. Those aren't my choice of sources, but I've cross-referenced them, and I've already found, of course, discrepancies. And of course, if you don't do that, then you can't get any closer to, I think, a balanced conclusion on some of these things. But I think it's going to continue, which is sad enough. And I don't know. But the U.S. has its own issues right now. That's clear. Okay. We have our own working class issues. We have our own employment issues. We have our own, we could even say we have our own housing issues. We've got our own issues without importing other nations. But I'm just thinking that once we start abusing people, or once we start putting hands on people, then I think that there's something else, that this is much darker than most will admit. Whether it's a dark heart, dark intent, another agenda, whatever it is. Hello, Derek C. Williams. Let me just read this. Derek C. Williams says, the fact or the opinion as I see it, is Black life globally does not matter. Late to the party. Thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate it, Derek C. Williams. Yeah, but but see, there again, like, I mean, and I'm not, this is the thing, and I promise I'm going to get on to it. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand why some of these other countries don't stand up. I'll give you the statement from the Haitian prime minister. They have a new prime minister, by the way, because, the previous, leader was assassinated. And this is where I have issues. You have all these people, rah, 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 the BLMs and all these types. And then you have these Pan-Africanist. Okay, well, where are they on something like this? You don't see them anywhere. Is it because they think it's going to make the other side look better? Or, why can't they discern? I mean, why doesn't your humanity easily discern why? I'm just asking. I want you guys to see the video for yourself. And I know I've been talking quite a bit. Hello, Two Hats. How are you? Thank you so much for coming in. And Derek C. Williams says, and then I'm going to get to, I just want you to see the actual, I've seen missionaries offer Haiti actual support in their time of earthquake relief is what I've seen. I don't know what the U.S. has done. I would imagine that we already do some form of relief, but I don't know what has been done since then. I do know that the jab complex has been at the forefront, it seems, of the U.S. And it seems like to me, human trafficking seems to be another industry that we have. What do we have? We're about 3 industries that we're championing right now. I'm just saying, just making an observation here. Derek C. Williams says Haiti has been devastated since standing up against colonialism. And Derek C. Williams says that previous leader wanted nothing to do with the jab. Reportedly, he ended up with yes. And you had what? We can go to Tanzania. We can go to many of these places that have rejected this, rejected the jab. And I mean, I'm just saying, just do your diligence on that. So what I'm going to do is, I keep saying this. I feel like a broken record here, but I really am going to take you to some of the imagery that I've seen. And I've seen this happen from Jack Brewer and his own missionaries' efforts to offer some type of some type of relief, whether it be shelter, food, water, that kind of a bit. And I'm going to share that with you right now. Hello, angry conservative. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, I think it's by design, but it's no less inhumane is what my point is. And I'm just going to say, I'm not going to deny that I do see bias. And I just don't think Haiti there has not been a good history of, you guys have heard of many campaigns before involving Haiti, and I don't need to go into those, but, all the concerts for Haiti, hip hop people, and they end up with nothing, or they end up with less than 5% of what was collected or for them. So let's just share you these imageries. Okay, so what we have here, this is, I think Jack Brewer is a previous, maybe he's an NFL player or something, but this is his own Haiti mission. And so I guess they went in with their own doctors and partnerships to deliver some things after the earthquake. I don't know. But the reason I'm showing this is because I'm just thinking, well, if we're following the narrative, you've offered people some level of asylum or whatnot. But then you had this to occur, but then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, you're capping everything. Are you saying, well, we've already offered these people, this type of relief, or we've already done that for you and we're done. And then this imagery comes up. So I'm just thinking, there's something else. It's got to be a little bit something else going on here. And then I'm going to let you see the video and what he's saying about what's actually, what one of the Haitians is saying is actually happening there. There is a translator there as well. So this is the Jack Brewer. This is his foundation, and a fourth week in which he had a partnership to deliver relief to them post earthquake. Okay, all right. So there you have that. Now I'm going to show you the video that I saw. I've heard about that. I've heard about the Beyoncés and all the people that, the concerts. That was a big deal. And it doesn't seem like they really got ahead, or much relief came out of that. So I'm going to stop that one. And then I'm going to show you this video. I'm going to show you video 1, and you guys can chop it up on what you think these people are doing in the water. And then I'm going to show you, I have two clips here. So I'll start out with number 1.
We're having a hard time. Our family sends us money, but we can't eat. We have children, but don't have diapers. Look, now I have to cross to the Mexican side with wet money to be able to buy things for the child, and we have nothing. We're unable to eat. I need help with everything that's happening to us over there because there are a lot of children, and they're only removing the single parents, and the children are left alone. Just imagine.
Okay, so there's one clip there. I don't like the quality on that one. I'm going to change it over to another one. I'm going to change it over to another clip that I think is much more clarity. But then the next one has actual audio. Hello, Callie Unknown. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to change it over to another one where you'll get to hear some interaction from, you'll hear this is, and the other controversy is, I'm not sure if it is controversy, but I'm hearing that is either the Texas State Border Patrol, or I'm hearing some people say it's actually the U.S. Customs Border Patrol. And I mean, this is, to me, it's almost like deja vu of 2018, in which we had, in SoCal, we had border agents. They were actually buying formula. They were actually buying diapers to assist the migrants that were in the fall of 2018. But I'll go ahead and show you that one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hi, Marcy T. Yeah, I'm sorry for the delay there. They have their way of getting things done there. So I'm going to show you this next clip, which is, you have an actual agent that's speaking directly to, it appears he's speaking to them, directly on that. So I'll show that to you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Okay, so then on that example, you had an account from one of the actual Haitians. So I'm going to share screens right now so that you can get much better vision on this one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys are doing well out there. So this next one is going to come from here. I'm going to show it to you. Oh, that's not the one. Okay, sorry, technical difficulties here. Just a little bit, not much. But also, you've already got Jen Psaki saying that she doesn't know the reason for the treatment and she can't justify why it's being done. But then also the aggravating part is that they are maintaining, Mayorkas has maintained that they have seen a significant influx of Haitian migrants in Del Rio, Texas, but they are surging the resources. And they've also surged approximately 600 agents so that they can gain complete control. And we are moving people rapidly to other processing centers to ensure safety and securities, end quote. Quote, we have sent a very clear message early on in light of the fact that we are in the midst of a pandemic, that the border is not open and people should not take the perilous journey here, end quote, Mayorkas added. That is not true. You did not send a very clear message. I will not accept that from Mayorkas, nor will I accept that from Psaki when they say they sent a clear message. No, they did not. In fact, they got a clear message that they weren't wanted when Harris went down to one of the Northern Triangle countries herself and was placating what she was actually doing there. They told them not to come after they basically made all kinds of campaign promises, and their NGOs also reinforced what their intent was. I mean, I think things are going exactly the way they intended them to go. I really do. And then here again, I'm going to reiterate that the Biden administration extended a temporary deportation relief to around 150,000 Haitians in the United States earlier this year. But it says that that relief does not apply to new arrivals. So the deportation and expulsion differ technically. Expulsion is much quicker. The U.S. officials briefly halted removals to Haiti following the August 14th earthquake. So I'm just going to take you to the next one here. And this one you will see the actual agent speaking to, you will see them speaking directly to the migrants. I mean, at this point, what are we calling them? Migrants? Are we calling them refugees? I don't even see internet. This would be violation if we were following some form of law, but I just don't know what we're doing anymore other than just, it just looks like hypocrisy and it's hard to hear. Okay. Hello to Pastor Yoda. So here we have a interaction here.
This is how one U.S. Border Patrol officer received Haitian migrants crossing the Rio Grande, coming back with food to a camp they've set up in Texas.
Hey, you use your women? This is why your country, because you use your women for this. You go, that way. Hey, no.
We've got our families inside, dying of hunger. We've had to go out to buy food.
No!
You can see the scenes here. The Border Patrol are trying to stop people getting back into the camp after they went across to Mexico to get food, they say, because there isn't enough food for them actually there in the camp. There's more than 12,000 migrants, mostly Haitians, in the camp that sprung up in Del Rio, Texas, over the last 2 weeks. They want asylum, but U.S. authorities are overwhelmed. This is just the latest flashpoint in a month-long surge of people illegally crossing the border. There's little in the camp for them.
Sanitary products? There aren't any. Food? There isn't any either. They don't give you anything.
We met Nicholas on the Mexican bank of the river, searching for food and medicine for his family. He hadn't realized until we asked him about it that U.S. authorities are also now flying Haitians back home. There's planes now going deporting people. What do you think about that?
What kills me about that is that everyone knows what we Haitians are going through. There's no president. Crime is high. Students can't go to school. There's no work. The economy is down. People can't put up with that. Deportation is not good for us.
Like many others, he said he'd suffered to get this far on a journey through South America, past gangs and through a patch of jungle called the Darien Gap, notorious for rape and robbery. It was really difficult. I saw a lot of us who died, he told me. Now he's touched ground in his promised land.
All right, guys. So there you have, a little bit more interaction and a second account from one of these migrants that are actually there. But I'm actually going to put these links into the stream for you guys. Like I said, and I think this probably is going to go on for a little while. These cycles are so quickly, who they might brush it off and say, hey, there's no problem going on there. I mean, they pretty much cut the feed, or they cut the drone capability, I think, of Fox News. I think that was trying to cover what was going on under the bridge. And it's chaos. It's all inhumane. But I'm just thinking that I have not seen any kind of footage like this, or to me, you could see it almost looks like something out of a movie, or dare I say an Alex Haley movie, or something, or Roots or something. And maybe that's the effect that they were going for. But it's certainly to me, there seems to be a bias. I don't know if these children are actually what they want. If they are separating these people and saying, here, get out of here, take the kid, we'll take the kid, and you go back. I think the courts, there's some type of ruling already from the previous administration that they weren't able to overturn So this is just going to be an interesting situation to watch. I don't know what happens. I do know that I know that some kids or some people that have, I know at least one person that has said that they actually adopted a kid from Haiti, and that child actually they don't have birth certificates. So to me, when you don't actually have a birth certificate, it's kind of hard to track, I think, your existence. I mean, if you disappear into the corridors of this country as a child, how are you going to be tracked? I mean, if your own country doesn't have that tracking on you, then what is this country going to track you with? I mean, are they creating numbers for these kids like they are for people who are able to take money from the system, whether they actually work or whether they file taxes or not? There's so much, so many layers of corruption and darkness going on here, and I do believe, unfortunately, it's gonna be bad for the kids, because they have no way to defend themselves, or they have no way to discern who's for them, who's trying to do something for them, or who's trying to take something from them. And I just want to say hello to everybody that's in the stream. I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. And I don't know, maybe I'll put the link out for a second. Of course, you guys can decide for yourself. I'm just saying it doesn't matter whether it's a crop for animals or whether it's a nine-tail something. These people aren't animals. They're not. I haven't seen anybody yanking and grabbing and swatting and cropping and striking people down from the earlier this year. I didn't see that. I've heard about hotels instead. I've heard of Airbnbs, but I didn't see anything like that. And I heard they were overwhelmed then too. So I just think that this is just more of a dark agenda that's kind of playing out. So I'm going to take a quick little break and I will be back. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Thank you, Marcy T. and Derek C. Williams. I'll be right back. Thank you guys. I'll be right back. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And we have John H. Roberts here. How are you? Thank you so much for coming in. And I think I did put the link out there. So I'll see if we have, a couple of takers. Anybody just wants to add, something, or, share a different perspective with us, or even if it's Derek C. Williams. Hi, Derek C. Williams. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing well. Shout out and respect due to Black Spring with Autumn. Intelligence done right. How are you?
I'm hanging around, Derek. I mean, it doesn't give me any pleasure or relief, or it doesn't give me anything to come on and talk about, these kinds of things. But I just find that there is a bit of some darkness and some bias going on here. I think there's a history that nobody wants to talk about, or it's going to continue. And I just had to put it out there.
Yeah, I understand. Like I put in the stream, in my opinion, I think that earthquake that rocked Haiti a few years back was a weather weapon of some sort. Ever since Haiti has stood up against France and America and all these other Western powers, Haiti has always they just been devastated. Here in Philadelphia, just to give you a quick history, Girard College was founded by Stephen Girard. Stephen Girard was friends. He was friends with Toussaint Louverture. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Well, when Louverture had died, Stephen Girard stole this guy's money, took that money, used it as an endowment, and now we have Girard College here in Philadelphia and Girard Avenue named after him. So they've been pilfering Haiti in one way, shape, or form forever. But the fact that you're really nice with it when you see like a dark agenda. The fact is that you have black skin, and Paul Mooney, the committee, and that's good. I understand that. You know, that's beautiful that you speak that way. But the Paul Mooney said, the comedian who just died a few years back, he said that we don't have the right complexion for the protection. When Hispanics tell you to your face that, yes, I am an undocumented person in your country and I love it, and the federal government does nothing. But if black people wish to come here on boats, be it from Cuba or from Haiti or from Africa, they hurry up to get their ass up out of here. And so that's just the long and short of it. And so I think at this point, for anyone to not say it's some sort of racial component in there, you're just being facetious. You're being willfully ignorant. They don't want you. The American government and Western powers will never accept us as black. They don't look at us as human, sadly, and you can see that by the way they treat us, and more importantly, how we treat ourselves. But when I was able to go live on YouTube as an example, I had said when Harry and Meghan Markle were so upset at the Crown because they was not, they didn't want them married. And I said several times, and I said that the Crown would never accept a black woman in seats of power. It's just not going to happen. All right. And so here we have these, and I should say, for full disclosure, I am an economic refugee of sorts. I'm from Mississippi. Mississippi is one of the poorest states in the nation. I'm in Pennsylvania. Why? Because of the economics. I came here to get something. And so I actually don't have a problem with people coming here as long as they come the right way. But if you're going to flood the country, with Hispanics and people who by designation are looked upon as being white, but you don't have this same energy for black people who come to this country, they're looking for something too. I still say, be it you Haitian or Latino, you need to come to this country the right way, because I cannot go to any country on earth my papers aren't together. That's just the long and short of it. And I have an issue with Hispanics that actually tell you that, yes, I'm an undocumented, as far as I'm concerned, I keep it old school. You're an illegal alien, but they can get away with it and blacks can't. That's just the bottom line. They will tell you that I'm undocumented, and I'm getting your I get your tuition money. I can get a free driver's license. Now, understand, in Texas, I didn't believe it. I heard Mike Adams say it about maybe 8-9 years ago. In Texas, the Hispanics can run lights and hit people, and they don't even get charged. And I said, Brian, I couldn't believe it. But then my brother, who lives in Houston, Texas, had a fender bender with a Hispanic. They did not charge the guy that hit Brian, got him dead to rights, but he was illegal over here. But let Brian had been an illegal coming to this country and hit a white person here, they would have threw his ass under the bus. My last point, then I'm gonna drop back down. There was a big case, and you're from California. Under the Golden Gate Bridge, there was a white woman that was killed by an illegal alien. He was deported 9 times. He went on to murder a white woman and threw her body under the Golden Gate Bridge. This was a few years back, right? Now, I don't know his situation now. I don't know if they deported him and threw him in jail or what, but he was confirmed to have killed this white woman after he got deported several times. So what does that tell you? How was he able to keep coming back into the country? Save for the color of his skin. But had that been myself, killing that same white woman, you wouldn't be talking to Derek Williams right now. Derek Williams would be in jail. So we don't have the right protection we don't have the right complexion for the protection. That's just all I want to say. And thank you for having me on. Salute to Marcy T.
Hi,
Well,
Derek.
Derek,
Love you.
I appreciate you for coming on and sharing your perspective. I mean, I'm a little bit of, and I could say the same thing. My family, they were economic, refugees.
I'm an economic refugee.
We all have that. I mean, because I have deep Southern roots. Okay, I've spent time in this. I grew up in the South, and my family did as well. But they moved when they had enough. I don't talk about these things specifically because for one, nobody's really interested. Okay, and people say nice things and blow smoke and all this stuff. They're not really interested in that. So I don't go into it. But I do know that there was a time in which people were tired of living under the thumb, or tired of having a limit on their opportunity, and they fled. Okay, but they fled with they had some. They had their education, and they were in good standing to go, and they've done well. My family did well, and I'm proud of them for that. But I think what's going on now is it's almost like anything coming in is going to be ranked above those of us who are already here. It's repeating itself, but it's also, I just think that they're creating another class, and they don't care.
They don't. Those people are wrapped in black skin. That's why. I mean, it is because you would think that would be considered a humanitarian crisis, would it not?
Yeah, absolutely.
But aren't we having one here right now?
Well, we are, but they seem to do certain races of people differently than others.
Do you see
even though they're still human?
They're sitting there pointing at everyone. Get them, they're the bad guy. Get them, they're the bad guy. Get them. And it's keeping their mind off them elites that think they got blue blood. That's what I see.
I tend to agree with that, yeah. But that's all this is that we're not in the big club. That's all. And so I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all at any of the treatment that anybody of people of color worldwide get by the powers that be. It's going to always be this way. It's going to always be this way until that power structure some type of way is.
We have to bust it down. We have to say no more.
Yeah, and see, this is the thing too. I would say real quick, then I'm gonna drop back down. How that's executed, I don't know, but clearly,
all of us together can come together and figure it out, brother. Yes, we can.
Yeah. Well, all the way that people that are in dark hue are treated is much different than those of a lighter hue. Some would say race, some would say it just coincidence. I don't know, but that's what it looked like. So thank you for having me on Black Spring, and you take care of yourself, all right?
I just want to say, can I say something to you guys?
Sure. Go ahead.
I didn't have this color hair when I was born. It was dark. I was half Native American, and I grew up 30 miles from the reservation. We were called dirty names by the white man, and the Indian called us dirty names because we was half white. So I got best of both worlds, if you want to call it like that. And I'm not trying to say my struggles were. I see what they've done to my black brothers and sisters. I've been there. I've been a civil rights activist my entire life. But this is something different. This is like they're against all of us, and they don't care if we're. You're right, though, Derek, and I would not want to be driving while being a black man. Let me tell you that right now. I wouldn't. I know what they've done. And it's not. And we have to all stick up for each other, and we all got to come together and stop looking at this is them against us, and them is the ones with all the money.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, I'm gonna drop down and I'll be listening. And like I said, thank you for having me on your channel. All right, Black Spring.
Love you,
Well,
brother.
thank you for coming in, Derek. I appreciate your perspective. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Derek C. Williams. We'll see you around, Derek. Have a good rest of the day.
All right, y'all take care. Salute.
Bye, honey. Love you.
Bye bye. Love you too.
Well, and this is just what I want to say to that end. I mean, and Marcy T, you were hitting on some things. Some very specific things that are relative to your background.
Yeah.
Some very specific things about your native, ethnicity that I don't know. I'm not privy to that.
Right.
So I would never tell you that,
Right.
Marcy, you're wrong about
No, that's
that.
right.
I would never tell you how to feel about it. I would never tell you how to think about it. I'd never tell you your experiences are, how
valid.
Yes. And I would never tell you to what, how it affected you or how it would affect the way you see the world. I would never tell you that. But what I will say is that even in the Black community, I'm going to use that Black community or either African-American community, there is bias. We have biases against each other. Okay. I'm going to tell you this. For instance, my mother is fair-skinned to me. My mother is fair-skinned. Okay. My mother told me stories as growing up about the brown paper bag test. Okay. If your skin was darker than a brown paper bag, you could not be in a sorority. Now that's a Black sorority. Okay. People don't know that kind of nuance comes from being on the inside. Exactly. You don't know that nuance unless you lived it or right. Somebody in your family lived that. I'm not a sorority personality. That culture doesn't appeal to me. So you can keep your paper bag and your 3 letters in your cult. I don't want it. Right, so then but she's fair skinned. She could do whatever she wanted to do. And you also have people of mixed race, whether you call them mulattoes or whatnot, that, back in the 19th century or early 20th century, those people there were white fathers and there were white mothers with black mothers and Black fathers. And those people could pass for white. Yeah. I would never know that. But I'm privy to that because that is a part of my ethnicity. And I also know we do have Caucasians in my family. I know that. Our family name is of that background.
Was like me. I was like your mother. You couldn't tell what I was, so I could pass for either, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't know it was wrong passing for something. We just thought, oh, good, we're under the radar. We don't have to get beat down, right?
See?
That's all.
But it was also illegal in some ways. If you got caught, if you got caught passing, I would imagine that it was off with your head. If you got caught passing, then it was curtains for you too. So I'm just saying, I think those were the nuances or a part of that time. But to me, it kind of looks like it's repeating itself when we don't have, we have a mess on the southern border. We have our own mess here in the U.S., but I do think that there are a couple agendas at work to crush this whole place, to bring the whole place down. I'm a plebe, I'm a peasant. To them, that's what I am. And it doesn't in the big scheme of things, they want you to think it's just all about my skin color. But to me, we're all in the same boat. As you said, I can see that too, broken down. But I don't want to see anybody coming here, according to Harris, root causes, their causes seem to qualify under what you said. You guys were taking people in for earlier this year. So all of a sudden, you're not only are you overwhelmed, which is true, but you were also, now you're doing inhumane things that are getting caught on camera. And to me, it's par for the course. And I don't want to hear anything from any of these pan people or these people that don't stand up for inhumane things. I don't want to hear from them because I think they're fake and I think they're a bunch of frauds. They don't stand up for inhumane. I think everything that's happening to everybody under the bridge down there is inhumane, Marcy. It's not just, we don't know whether other people probably been beaten too.
They're paying these people to bring these children over here. That's not fair. Where'd they get these children? Is there a mother somewhere crying? Where's my child? You see, you get this, you get this, you get free this, you get free that. Bring us these. They do this every time they break down a NATION.
Yeah, well, it's not to mention, they are, and see, to me, the response that they had was, even the prime minister, because they had an assassination, the Haitian president or the previous prime minister, he's basically, oh, well, I share in their crisis and their struggles. And by the way, welcome back home. What is that? That's all you got. But what's the reaction going to be if he sees these images? Is he going to maintain that? Is it going to stay the same? I'm just saying, and I've been around professors that are pro-black or pro-whatever. California's Secretary of State was the former department head of the of Africana Studies Department. I don't see her. I'd love to see her on a press conference today. This is your party, lady. This is your party. This is who you supported. So what do you have to say about this, Dr. Weber? What do you have to say?
I would like to confront a few of my professors myself, Autumn. I really would. It's like, what? And I believed in all this till that election in 2016, the one that shall not be named. And I voted left my whole life, but something left that party, and I could not relate to it whatsoever at all again. And all the liberal professors at the college, they're all for this. You see, it's like a big plan.
I mean,
into the education system.
I had no words. I'm like, okay. This is, you could probably put this next to something, this imagery.
This is where I went to school, right here. And I'd love to speak to them right now. They wouldn't like me very much, though.
No, I can imagine not. But yeah, I'm just, I imagine that more things will come out, but then they're going to probably brush it over. Anything that looks bad, they kind of, they scoot right along, or they go on vacations. Or they go, it's, I don't know, maybe Biden's having Dippin' Dots or something right now. I mean, it's everybody under the bridge is being treated inhumanely. And it's because they created this. They created it.
So here's the thing. Why are we all going to work still? Why are we agreeing to we see what they're doing to us all. We have got to come together, all of us. And we all have to start talking to everyone that we know and say, look here, you guys, the only way a kingdom stays is if they come together, not divided, you always fall. And they're doing this on purpose. And it's up to us. We are Autumn, you are the resistance. I'm the resistance. The people on your audience are the resistance. Only people that are seeing this come to us and listen, right?
That's true. I mean, like I said, I just share with you guys, my perspective, and I try to do enough, cross-referencing that I am, that I'm giving you as much balance as I can. But then, like I said, historically, this is not the first time we've had this surge on the border is so much worse than the one in 2018. And then they don't want anybody to cover it.
No.
And I'm surprised this got out, because if that's what, I can see, you heard I don't know if you heard the dialogue with the guy saying, this is what you do to your women to get here. I think I understand what he's saying there, but it's kind of out of context. I don't know what happened before that. I don't know, but I kind of understand that. But also where they caught it was, okay, why'd you show it from that point? They do what they do to bring.
It's called framing.
Yeah, they frame it up, and then you get what you get. And we have somebody new, a new caller here. and it is Angry Conservative. Hi,
Hi.
Angry Conservative.
Hello, Miss Autumn. Hi, Mercy T.
Hello.
First off, I want to say something to Mercy T. You won't like, I don't know if you're watching the chat or not, but you won't like the school that I went to.
Oh, Ohio State?
Yes, ma'am. I am an alum from Ohio State.
Oh, I love you anyway. It's all right.
And the second thing is, all of this has happened in the past because I am doing a series that I've been doing the last 6 Sundays that I do at 4 o'clock Central Time. All of this stuff that we're talking about that's happening in this country happened before. It's happened in what I'm teaching on. It happened in Nazi Germany.
Yes, sir.
Everything that I'm teaching about that's going on here, because I'm doing what's the parallels between Nazi Germany and the United States today.
And the Bolshevik Revolution, sir.
And the color revolution of China. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
see history's repeating itself.
And Sun Tzu wrote all about this, didn't he?
But the thing about it, I want people to know, yeah, there are more of us than these elites.
Right?
But the thing about it, we need to quit fighting.
To each other.
Right.
Each other. What we need to focus on is fighting these corrupt politicians. And I'm not gonna say either party's not innocent in this shit.
No, I'm not for any party line whatsoever. None. I'm out of that funk stick.
Hey, Marcy,
Yes,
but
sir.
the thing about it, the one thing that I noticed, the reason I came to the conservative side, I was a liberal most of my life. I'm 40 years old.
Me too.
When I read the Mueller report, I got pissed off. That's what changed me, was that report.
That all changed me, that whole thing. I was like, I'm not in none of this. And then I got on the train for like 1 second, and then I saw that magic going on. I'm like, I'm out of here.
And Autumn, I'm going to say this to you, young lady. You're a lot younger than me. You're in your 20s. But thank you for speaking up.
Autumn is well beyond her years in every
She
way,
is.
shape, and form.
There are times when I'll watch, but I won't say anything. I will just listen to what she's putting out there. She's a very intelligent, smart woman.
Much respect at any age, Autumn. Any age, girl.
Well, I appreciate you guys.
Girl either.
coming on.
I say that to everyone. I like being called girl myself.
I'll take it. Thank you. I appreciate you guys for allowing me to for taking it in, for lend me your ear. Just hear me out. And I usually don't
with us.
I usually just I never do. I have yet to do just a live stream, just kind of like raw, just talk to you. I haven't done that yet, but one day I'm going to do it. But I usually try to see what these people what they're saying, what the media is saying, because, you can have 10 editorials and 3 out of 10 of them are a little bit, they're a little bit different, so what's the truth? What is the truth? Is there truth? Can we acknowledge there's truth anymore? What is it?
Autumn, did you hear of Miss Slaughter? She's some high up in the is it blue? The Democrat side. This woman, she said that she read the Constitution and Bill of Rights, and it said all white men are created equally all over the world. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's a lie. I never read I never saw that. I made a Bill of Rights when I was in like 6th grade, and I read it over and over, and I didn't say that. Else I would have been offended. I was an American Indian girl. I'm like, I'm created equal.
And I got a question for you two ladies. Where in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights does it say that a black person's 3/5 of a person?
I've seen that the American Indian is less of a person than that, though. That's what it says in there anyway, but I can't quote where it was at all.
It's not in there. That was a compromise.
Yeah,
It was a compromise because the southern states wanted to pick everybody, all the blacks, all the slaves, as a whole person to get more representation in federal Congress, like they're doing with the illegal aliens.
Yeah, I remember that being part of the 3/5 compromise, but they don't, they don't really, they kind of use it as a talking point, and they don't really go into, the representation part of it. It's what you're saying.
Yeah, I see now.
Yeah,
I'm a history buff. I love history.
I do too. Me and you could talk forever, couldn't we? I love history.
History is one of my favorite subjects because I can learn from what I'm seeing now to what is actually happening in this country and in this world. I can't remember who said it, but someone said, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Was it Ben Franklin?
It might be Ben Franklin. It might have been somebody else. It might have been Churchill, for crying out loud.
We're right. Whoever said that's the truth.
It is, it is. So I really appreciate it. And thank you, Pi Tyrant Spain, TDOA, and Callie Unknown. And thank you, Angry Conservative, for coming out. And yes, I will certainly get over to your stream. When did you say you're doing your live?
8 o'clock Central Time.
Okay, tonight.
Yes, it'll be 6 o'clock your time, because tonight's nothing political. It's just weird stories that me and some friends have got on the internet and found. It's just to make people laugh, to make people smile. It's about having fun. It's not about all the horse crap that's going on.
Well, thank you for that.
Need that. That's for sure.
Just tell everybody, if you want to tell everybody where they can find you, if they want to come over, and that's all good to do here. I mean,
put it in the chat.
Yeah, you can put it in the chat if you like.
That's what I'm about to do, because I still have the chat up.
Yeah, well, you're right. I think that the unity is what we need, but I just don't like them, just the bait and switch stuff. The bait and switch, to me, lure them over here, toss them, snatch the kids. That's what I'm picking up.
Yes, that is horrible. And you should be. Thank you for being for the children. That's awful. You see what they're doing. And they've been doing it for years until we finally found out.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't know what's going to come of it, but I'm sure unfortunately, it's going to continue. And I just wanted to know what you guys were thinking about, or have you seen this? Because of course the MSNBCs and the other, 3-letter, groups will jump on it on some level, but it's probably going to be, in between a commercial or something. They're not going to do much on it, because they really don't want to bring bad press to this, to this administration. They don't. But that's what social media is here for.
And I'm gonna ask you this. Black Lives Matter has a protest today at a restaurant in NYC.
No, I didn't know that was today. I thought I heard
that was today. It was supposed to be today. I don't know if it happened or not. But think about this. What if Black Lives Matter came out and said that having the vaccine passports was racist? What would the Democrats do then? What would these liberals do then? Would they go away from it?
I don't think so. I think it's here to stay, to be honest. I really do. I think it's here to stay. And
I always say, K Bono, find out, follow the money who runs BLM. And it's not nobody with this color or with darker skin.
No,
they got more color like this.
The man behind BLM is a Jewish. He was born Jewish. I'm not saying their names. I'm not saying their names.
Easy on the overlord
flag.
But you know that's one of those
I didn't say his name. I just said he was born Jewish. That's all I said. Come on. There's ways around censorship.
A Jewish excuse me. I'm not going to say nothing. I might get in trouble.
I don't want to get Autumn in trouble. That's why I said it the way I did.
I'm already on their list, but you know,
I'm getting hot now talking about that guy.
You're right. Well, I really appreciate you guys for coming on, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this because it's only Monday, right? It's only Monday.
Or is it only Monday?
We got Marcy, do you got the Monday blues?
It's like Groundhog Day.
Have you guys got any final words? I don't know if you have any final words of inspiration or encouragement, or if you just want to say, whatever you
want to say is, you guys, we all have to get together and be together in one mind and be the ones with the brains, because that's who we are. It's a dangerous place in this world today to have this and be able to use it. But we have to do it. We have to come together, all of us. That's all. I love you guys very much. I know I always say that. It's not cliche either. I mean it. Okay? I'll see you guys tonight.
Hopefully. To you too.
Thank you, Autumn, for having me on with your gracious self. I love you very much, my sister. Talk to you later.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Marcy.
Bye, Angry. Nice meeting you. I'll see you this evening.
Nice to meet you too, Marcy.
All right. What have you got for us, Angry? And thank you so much for coming on. I think this is the first time you picked up the phone.
It is. But the thing about it, I just want people to remember that we're in this together. It's not about Democrat, Republican. It's about good versus evil right now. And we can see that very clearly with everything that's happened. We need to stick together. We might have disagreements at times, but we need to stick together and love one another, because that's the only way we come out ahead in this entire thing. Do not let them push you to a breaking point where you regret what you do. We need to stick together.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're kind of all we have at this point, you know. To that point, and that's why I said, you know, I even with a celebrity here or there throwing their hat behind something, I don't trust that, and I just think we need to stay the course. We need to stay focused. We need to unify and figure out how to say, okay, no matter what, let's not split hairs and break. You know, and let's not be distracted by anybody from Hollywood or whatever they're saying. Yes, they have huge platforms. Yes, they might be able to shake things up, but we have to be focused, because we've been living this life our entire existence, and they've been benefiting from that other life, that elite status. And we have to do what we have to do no matter what they do. So we can't rely on anybody but ourselves. That's all I had.
But thank you for letting me come on. Love you, sister. I'm happy John connected me with you, because you're an outstanding young lady, and I love watching your stream. I might not say a whole lot from time to time, but I do watch.
Well, I appreciate you for coming on. And yes, and John is fantastic, and I need to catch up. but yes, thank you so much for coming on, and I look forward to coming over. And don't be a stranger. Come around a little bit more.
I will. Talk to you later.
All right. Thanks so much. Angry Conservative, and we had Marcy T on, as well as Derek C. Williams. So we've had some of our friends, our dearest friends, and content creators on today. So I really appreciate it for you guys letting your voice be heard on this platform, and check them out. Check everyone out, and and see what happens. So I'm going to take a quick little break and come in and say salute to everybody in the chat room. I appreciate you guys for your perspective on this, and I will be right back. All right, guys, and thank you so much for tuning in on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. And from our veterans to our lesser knowns, I think I missed a few people in, but you're not forgotten. So I'm going to go ahead and say hello to everybody and wish you guys a great rest of your Monday night. So Marcy T, thank you so much for coming in and supporting the channel the way that you've done, and I appreciate it, and appreciate you for coming in and picking up the phone today on the panel. So Jermaine G, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your perspective with us. And I don't know if I knew you were from Jamaica, but thank you so much. Love to you, Jermaine G. And Callie Unknown. I think Callie Unknown had to scoot, but I appreciate Callie Unknown for coming in. I really appreciate that. Two Hats, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. As well as Alien Believers. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Angry Conservative was just here, and he was on our panel today. I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys. John H. Roberts was here from over on Twitch, so I thank you thanks to the Twitch family. And I am going to be rolling out something for the Twitch family, and thank you guys so much over there for your support over there. And who else? Fancy Truth. Thank you, Fancy Truth, for coming in. I appreciate it. And thank you, Marcy T. Any referrals that you guys do around here, I appreciate them very much. And who else do I have? Yeah, make sure I'm not missing anyone. Believe it or not, I can actually see nowadays. I just try to make sure I'm not missing anybody here. And Mad Militant was here. Thank you so much for coming in, as well as Alien Believers. Tyrant Spain TDOA, thank you so much for coming in and for supporting the channel. We have some veterans around here. I really appreciate for my longstanding subscribers on this channel. I appreciate that. And yeah, you guys have been around for some time, and it seems like we're weathering the storm wherever it is. And then Old Head Deuce is here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, we got into quite a bit today. Gary Gage, thank you so much for coming in. I didn't see you, but I didn't forget you. R. Jones was here. That was that was, I saw you come in, but I didn't get to say hello. But hi, R. Jones. Thank you so much for coming in. I see your comment just really quickly says it won't require BLM. Anyone can make the point that mandates and pokes are racist. Thank you so much. And I think I missed somebody else, and I just don't remember where it was. Maybe I was going a little bit too fast there. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for coming in and for lending me your ear on this Monday. So like I said, I'll keep following this story because I think it's going to be more to come on this. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so much for coming in on your Monday. And I'm going to be saying salute and wish you guys a great evening. And yeah, you guys take care. See you on the next live stream in the comment section on a video. I may change some of that up in the future, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll do another setup and everything for the whole channel. But thank you for hanging around. Have a good night.